Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to Adam's Quest. In the last episode, the end of 2 lives in our bluebird family ushered in yet another era of bluebird twins. It's almost as if those feathers have some sort of connection between all of the twins in each and every generation, maybe going as far back as Drift and Breeze, who each had a feather of their own. I mean, there has to be some reason why we keep seeing twins in our bluebird nests every single time. Maybe each of those feathers houses a different twin's soul, and as they're passed on, so is their fortune too. But either way, it's clear that Drift and Breeze are really looking out for this family, even though we have a bit of a situation right now. Poor Leap is currently staring down a bearyena, who seems to be trying to get to the babies himself. In fact, our resident friendly bearyena is also trying his best to lend a hand. I feel like he's just so confused right now. He's probably shouting for this strange creature to leave his family alone. You know, this could even be a distant relative of our friendly bearyena, but I don't think he'd really remember, considering that we raised him from such a young age. So for all intents and purposes, Chime is kind of his father now. And that's all well and good because now they can both send off their songs of warning, just like last time the bearyena had invaded their territory. I think Chime is probably going to dash his way down the shore to make sure that everybody on this side of the island understands the danger, especially Sunrise, who has all of her healing, water-breathing fruits to offer up to anybody who gets injured. So she needs to know that her job might be put to the test very soon. And I'm sure Sarala, on her very last day, is very proud of all that Sunrise is doing. They were trying to make sure they could document each and every one of these healing fruits, so I think they'll continue to do so, make sure they know what's in the area. We'll have Sarala go deep into the water just to see for herself. There we go, if there's any extras hiding on the backside. Part of Sunrise would probably wish that there was some way for her to save her grandmother, but Sarala understands that this isn't the sort of thing that a healing fruit can fix. Her time has come, and now Sunrise needs to dig deep to find the other side of her lineage, the shaman side that allows her to help all of the souls of her ancestors pass away in peace. And look at that, Sarala did manage to find 2 more of these healing fruits for Sunrise to use. So she has quite a bit of medicine at her disposal, which is a good thing because we know she's going to need it. So Chime, I guess, can go even further now, see if there's anybody else even further down the shore waiting to lend a hand. Maybe he's looking for Kukirkir, but instead he might find our jungle family. And lucky for him, we have quite a few very adventurous babies, and a brand new baby in the nest to take a look at as well. She was born just yesterday, and I love how yet again she looks so similar to her mother, just like a Thorn did before her. The only thing she is thankfully missing is that spiky body. But she actually did not pull the stinky tail out of her parents' genetics. Well, that's a little bit unfortunate. She ended up with a Fang's swimming tail instead. So Beetle did not have the luckiest first baby, but she is still very, very pretty. I still do absolutely adore that fur color. So I think we'll call her Daylily, because the fur color reminds me of a very pretty flower, of course, and even those pink ram horns right on top of her head. The pink ram horns actually reach very, very far back in their lineage. I remember quite a few creatures on some of our earliest islands had the same pink ram horns too, and that should also mean it's a little bit difficult to tell on the nimble fingers, but you can see that on the claws they've painted their nails that pink color too, almost as if they're dyeing them with the juice of the berries. And we do actually have some big pink berries way back by the tree. So while Thorn's stinky tail is going to be able to help him, help his uncle and his father, it seems as if Amazon has a different calling. But she is so ready for adventure. She has been waiting for its call for all of her life. I think she might try to find something on a different portion of the island. It seems likely to me that Fang might tell her the stories of her old adopted mother, Summer, of course, who had so many adventures of her own. She actually got into quite a bit of trouble, quite a bit of dangerous situations thanks to carnivorous plants and whatnot, but she never gave up, and that made her stronger for it. So Amazon naturally would want to find that for herself. And as she gets closer and closer to the rest of our tribe, she would likely hear Chime's warning song way off in the distance. So that's surely what's going to lead her in this direction, where all of this chaos is currently taking place. I mean, I think the only thing that poor Leap can do, as he shakes and he shivers with fear, is maybe land that one good blow on this bearyena. Thankfully, that is going to poison him too, because he does have the toxic body. And I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that his toxic body will be enough to deter the bearyena too. Otherwise, I don't think there's any way that Leap is going to be able to get out of damage. Hopefully the distasteful appearance will be enough to get the bearyena to look the other way. I feel like we probably want somebody to set up here too, just in case, because the bearyena could probably loop around if he wanted to, and then Rarico would be in his sights. Gravel should probably come around the back side. He's actually one of the strongest members of the tribe on this side of the island. I mean, poor Leap with his 1 in attack strength is really not going to do too much for us, so we need the stronger creatures to lend him a really big hand. We'll leave Gravel over on this side of the tall grass, so hopefully he can sneak in there. Oh, wait a second, with all of those bugs, he's going to end up getting the sleeping sickness. And I mean, so is Leap at this point. He is going to get completely shattered by this bearyena. But I mean, he doesn't have a choice, because if he moves, then his babies are going to get shattered instead. So he kind of has to stay there. Well, Gravel, I guess you're going to have to move a little bit further away than we thought. Let's just settle him down inside the nest. That way he's still in the area, and if the bearyena does decide to try to escape out the back, he'll be able to swoop in and finish the job. And then meanwhile, I think we'll want to have Kufan maybe make his way past the babies. Oh no, I don't think he can, because Rarico is in the way. Oh, does that mean that nobody can sit down on that tile? Oh, that's a little bit worrying. I guess, all you can really do, Kufan, is sit next to the rest of the babies, just in case. Just to keep them safe on this side and dive in if there's an opening. I feel like he would be drawn toward a Dukvan in particular, thanks to their very, very similar coats. And for that matter, Dukvan would probably be drawn toward him as well. We'll have to see if a little mentorship develops between them. Ghoul, in the meantime, torn after the death of her mother, would probably want to find safety somewhere else. She is also not the strongest creature, so we'll have her kind of cower behind our big bearyena friend. We have to come up with a name for him too. I think once all of this blows over, maybe Chime will finally give our friendly bearyena a name. But in the meantime, Orion the Destroyer, the absolute beast, the warrior who was born in the previous episode, he wants to get in on this action too. So let's bring him across the water. Hopefully his big body will be enough to save him from any potential damage down here. Thankfully it looks like he's fine, so Pebble can try his best to keep up, maybe clear out a little bit of this extra grass so some of our creatures can move around more easily. Then I think we need to go to the other side of the island, where Hopper and Cicada are surprisingly having a very, very peaceful chat. This is not something that they're used to, but I'm sure they're very relieved that the bugs are no longer on their trail, and they are not even going to consider settling down in this nest over here. It is far too close to the swamps for their taste. They're actually interested in the tree off in the distance. Oh, and look at this, you still have plenty of bunnies back here to eat. So you guys know that you'll have lots of food at the ready if you do decide to maybe settle down here and start a family. I feel like at this point these two deserve it. They have been through so much and they've stuck by each other's side through thick and thin. So in the next turn, once they have a little bit more energy, we'll see if they can set up a nice little den for themselves. And then Trance and Myth, who had to run very, very quickly away from the ape, who managed to startle Trance. I feel like at this point he's probably just afraid of the jungles. His entire family is probably going to find the jungles to be a bad omen, because it seems to mess with his senses. It seems to cause his abilities to weaken, leaving him very vulnerable. So Trance is pretty happy to get out of this area. Though if we bring him down here, then he could maybe munch on one of these water-breathing fruits too, just to get rid of some of that extra damage that he took thanks to Myth's curse. And now that he's feeling so reinvigorated, he would probably want to pass that knowledge along. So let's bring him a bit further away from Myth, just so he's not going to end up getting sick with the curse again. And then we'll have to make sure that our jungle family, of course, are picking up all of their fruits. We're actually super close to unlocking the tail now. If we can find somebody with an open genetic in their menu. I believe we only have about 19 more turns to take. Which does sound like quite a bit, I suppose, but that does mean that we're just about halfway there. And we have once again completely cleared off this tree too. Oh, I guess that means that you guys are going to have to get a little bit closer to that jungle ape. At least we actually know where it is now though. That's just half the battle. So pick the rest of your berries for now, and then we'll get to work on that on the next turn too. In fact, I believe we might be just about out of turns. Oh no, I almost forgot about you two back here. It turns out that Kukirkir and Ladybug were never able to find those missing children. They can't see them past all of those thorns, so they're starting to think that the shamans must have moved on. But it's not a terrible thing because Kukirkir understands that his sister's children were all very strong. They should be able to take care of themselves. And instead of chasing after any bunnies, I think they might actually consider starting a family together. They've been pretty much by each other's side ever since they took their children off and away from the swamp den. And now that everything looks suspiciously calm here again, maybe they're taking that as some sort of sign. They'll offer us another chance for a strong baby to take to the other side of the island to make sure that everybody is going to remain safe over there because clearly they need it. So we'll go ahead and have him breed with her so she can decide where she wants to settle herself down. I suppose over here would be best for now, because she has lots of thorns to protect her babies, and she shouldn't have to worry about anything sneaking up on them. But that should be the last of our turns for today, so let's go ahead and see what's going to happen with this bearyena situation. Is he going to go after Leap, or will he maybe run toward you instead? Oh my goodness, Pebble! I didn't think that the bearyena would have you in his sights. That is very strange, but very good for Orion because now he can put his skills to the test. There is no way that he's going to allow his adoptive father to get shattered by a bearyena. So we'll have Pebble jump out of the way and perhaps take a quick swipe and shock, just to try to deter the bearyena from looming over their family. And then Orion, of course, will lunge in too, and hopefully finish off the job. There we go, that was much easier than I had anticipated. The bearyena just made the completely wrong move. If he had gone after somebody else instead, then Orion probably wouldn't have had enough energy to take the bearyena down. But now he has truly proven himself to be the guardian of our bluebird family. And I'm sure some of the younger ones might be very impressed by his efforts. In fact, Rarico herself, now that she does have her second gem, might want to find a way to repay him using all of these lovely little poison berries. And Leap must be breathing the biggest sigh of relief right now. Not only did he manage to get out of this unscathed, but he also did not catch the sleeping sickness. For some reason, these bugs have decided to leave our tribe alone. I mean, I'm not complaining because that's very good for us, but we should probably consider moving you a bit further away from them just in case. Let's have him hop down here, so we can hopefully make a safe space for our little twins to move. That way they won't get blocked inside the nest and they can still grow up on the next turn. Dukvan is still quite naturally intrigued by Kuvan right now, so I think he'll probably stick right in his shadow. I'm not totally sure how Leap would feel about that, especially because they don't really understand their relation to each other yet. In fact, I wonder if he would feel maybe a little bit jealous that this other toxic-bodied creature has just stolen all of his attention away from his baby as he hops ever further into his beloved swamp. It would be nice to have Gravel maybe join his brothers too. He would definitely want to see the newest baby to join their ranks. Now that Orion is kind of part of the family, since Pebble is doing his best to watch after him, they should probably all get to know each other. And then Ghoul, though she does have her mission in mind, and once she is of age, she is definitely going to try to find that carnivorous plant. I think right now she's a little bit more interested in sticking around the bearyena. She's very, very grateful that this guy was able to protect her from the much less friendly one. So let's have her hop over to the island to splash around in the water with him, because he does really seem to enjoy the ocean. He's been spending quite a bit of time in these tide pools. And now Chime, instead of his song of warning, can finally sing a song of victory. So we'll bring him back here to see if his little bearyena friend is doing okay, and finally give him a name too. I think he's going to call this bearyena Rasp, to go along with his raspy, guttural singing voice, so different from Chime's chirping musical songs. They would be the perfect complement to each other, especially right now during such a joyous occasion. I wonder if little Sunrise might also find that very, very appealing. Maybe she would be drawn back in this direction, eager to listen to more of his songs. But more than that, she would be so relieved to know that nobody was actually injured during that bearyena attack. Now she can rest easy and watch as all of her plants grow back, so she knows that she has plenty of medicine to lend. And I'm sure in some distant way, Amazon was probably watching on too. We'll bring her closer though. Oh, hello! Closer to greet the Crabbits apparently. That's very interesting. For some reason, the Crabbits are often drawn to our tribe mates, sometimes the strongest of the bunch. So this Crabbit must want to test Amazon's mettle in some way too. Now let's see what this little baby looks like way back in our swamp den once again. Oh, like a perfect mixture of both of his parents. He reminds me so much of Kukirkir, thanks to that adorable face. But he inherited a great deal of his mother's looks too, thanks to that lovely fur color. So I think we'll give him a name to honor her family, who are typically named after bugs, and we'll call this little baby Mantis. It's good to note that he has quite a few of those bearyena genetics hidden away in his line. So hopefully as we begin to breed with our new bearyenas, we might be able to pull brand new genetics into their families. But I think it might be time for Kukirkir to do a little bit of hunting after all. He has to make sure that his babies are going to be very well fed. We might want to have them breed one more time though, because it would appear that Ladybug is going to pass away on this turn. So we'll cross our fingers that the bunny will stick around for us, but otherwise we're going to move Ladybug over next to our baby so we can set up another nest very close by. That way we shouldn't have to worry about any of the babies getting picked away by the bluebird. Though if I remember correctly, yeah, it seems as if the bluebird has once again left our skies, so maybe we'll be okay. Now Trance and Myth have currently found them in quite the pickle. They have lots and lots of bugs to run away from now, but thankfully no more of those apes. And Trance can't really sense anything beyond that, so let's have him move down the shore to see if he can find, there we go, any more of those healing fruits, because he knows that Myth so desperately needs it, but oh no, it looks like he can't actually reach it in time. Oh, that's so sad. I think he does have just like one more day left on his life, but he really didn't get the chance to perform his duties. Maybe there's still hope though. It seems as if Trance has managed to sniff out a few more of those healing fruits. So I guess his mystical abilities, well, you would assume must be working. But I guess because they're deep under the water, Trance actually can't sense those either. Oh, this is interesting. There's so many little twists and turns to his abilities. I guess reading into the future isn't as great as you would think. But now it is finally time for Hopper and Cicada to start a little family of their own. They have been waiting a long time to find somewhere safe enough, and now that they're far, far away from the swamps, or at least as far away as they can possibly get, I think this is a pretty good spot for them to settle down. Right underneath the tree too, so Cicada has plenty of brand new food for them to eat. I'm sure they would love this so much more than their poison berries. So I remember when Hopper was born, I thought he kind of reminded me of a lion. And since they do want to branch away from the swamplands, what better way to do so than setting up their family for the savannas? That would fit very well with the lion theme too. So let's see if we can find some good genetics to place into their mutation menus. Hopper is actually quite healthy. We don't have to worry about the blood clotting or anything like that. So instead, let's try to get rid of the derp snout with, well, I guess the cracker jaw. That might be pretty good. We haven't had too many creatures with a cracker jaw recently, and it does kind of remind me of a lion too. Something very regal and strong. Then we could place in something like the bearyena claws too, but we'll have to be a little bit more mindful of the blood clotting for Cicada. So we'll go ahead and use one of her slots for the normal blood clotting. And I'm really hoping that we might see the antlers pop up on their babies. They both have it in their inactive traits, so there is a pretty good possibility that at least one of their babies will be born with those mystical antlers instead. We haven't seen them in so long because we have to spend time in colder climates first. So even though we've performed far more attacks than we need, the antlers are still very rare. I think we'll try mutating a brand new eye color on her babies too. Maybe the orange eyes to go along with that yellowish fur. Something to help them blend in very well with the savanna grass too, of course. Now I think we're just down to our jungle family yet again. So let's see how they're all doing. Oh my goodness, those bugs have appeared right behind your nest. I think you might want to see if you can maybe scoot your baby away. Next time, we're not going to make our nest quite so close to the swamplands. So go ahead and pick that one up. Then you can maybe scoot over to this side of your baby and see if maybe Bumble will be able to return to your side to have another one. We need to let those fruits grow back anyway, so let's scoot him right down the shore, where he should be able to breed with her. Oh no, the fertility got in the way of that one. Even that one too. Okay, so we need a little bit of extra energy before they can have another baby together. And instead, let's bring Thorn around the back side of the island, which might be a little bit risky, but I think Beetle is going to be very, very vigilant as you continue to walk down the beach. Just in case. We'll listen close, we'll sniff around. Still no ape though, so it must still be over on this side of the island. Maybe in fact it tried to chase a Trance and Myth down. There's always a possibility that it left the jungle and it can't find its way back. Wouldn't that be the best thing ever? If the ape was like lost somewhere in the swamps? I mean, maybe not so much for our swamp family, but I'm sure even Kukirkir would be able to protect his family. Oh my goodness, and I forgot to actually breed you two, didn't I? Well, go ahead and breed with your mate, please. And then we'll have Cicada drop down a nest so she can still pick up those acorns. You might even be able to help her out by knocking down some more for us. There we go, we have plenty of food to feed all of your little babies. And now it's time for us to pass the day again. So I suppose we might as well see what Ladybug's very last baby is going to look like. We need to make sure that everybody over here is kept us safe after all, so we'll have to move their father in between them very soon. But look at that, this one is almost like a little shadow. Oh, that is so strange, coming from his beacon father, of course. It's like he's literally walking in Kukirkir's shadow. And I think that is exactly what we'll name this little baby. The Shadow of the Swamps. A darker version of his bug-loving brother. But with Ladybug now gone, let's make sure that your babies are of course very, very protected, as that pesky bunny uses this opportunity to pick up some more food of his own. There's nothing that we can really do about that, though. Even though the bluebird is not in our skies, I want to be very cautious. Oh, and it looks like Amazon is just about to get attacked by a leech, too. Oh, maybe this was the Crabbit's test. We just barely caught that in time. If we hadn't seen that one, then she would have gotten a parasite, but instead, oh my goodness, instead her poor little brother has found a leech. I guess he's not quite as vigilant as Amazon, but I suppose that is to be expected. Well, don't worry, Uncle Beetle wouldn't mind picking that leech off of you. And then you two can sniff around a little bit more just to see if that ape is lurking around the corner. So far, so good. So we'll bring him closer to the tree. but it looks like he's found a little mud patch. Now that was supposed to disguise their scents, right? It's been a long time since I've played in the jungle, so I can't remember entirely, but I think this is actually a pretty good omen for us, especially to be right by the stinky fruits. Not that our stinky-tailed creatures really need it though. So let's go ahead and have Bumble try again to breed with Fang. There we go, that time it worked the first time. And then we can bring her a little bit further away from all of these awful bugs. Daylily is going to have to follow in her footsteps too. I'm a little bit upset that they didn't get the stinky tail. That would have been very helpful in this situation. But at least she'll be able to help her mother pick all of those berries. And then we can bring Bumble back to his original job. He'll sit on the other side of the stinky fruit tree and see if he can collect some more on the next turn. It should be all full. It looks like we're only missing 2 more fruits, so he'll have plenty of work to do pretty soon. And now that the smoke has truly cleared, Leap can go ahead and put those bluebird feathers in a bit of a more safe place. Instead of clutching onto them out of fear, we'll have him wear them for now, though not to take over the tribe, of course, just for safekeeping, because we know that he has a very big decision to make. Would he go just based on tradition? I mean, you have to remember that Leap didn't really know any of Adam's stories before Isla told him all of her troubles. So would he give them to the twins out of tradition? Or would he give them to Rarico out of tradition, because she was the only one of the siblings who actually managed to inherit those very important stripes? Then again, he might also prefer to go with Ghoul, assuming that she can complete her mission. And it almost seems like Rasp is gently leading her in that direction. He knows how important it is for Ghoul to find that carnivorous plant, and maybe he has caught a little whiff of it himself. Maybe he knows that it's somewhere off in this direction and he wants to give her a fair shot. So let me know what you guys think. Maybe we can come up with a test for all of the other babies too, because I do feel like that would be more up Leap's alley. He wants to make sure that whoever gets those bluebird feathers is truly meant to lead the tribe, just like he knows his mate Isla was. But let's make sure that we go see this brand new little baby too. Oh, you look just like a regal lion, a little king. So I think we'll name this baby Rex, to get him all prepared as the future king of the savannas. Unfortunately, he doesn't even have the antlers in his genetics, so he wasn't very lucky in that regard. But we'll make sure that we keep breeding this family, and we'll see if at least one of their babies can pull out that special horn. Now, Myth, you are so lucky that your brother managed to find some more healing fruits for you. So let's make sure that he goes ahead and munches on every single last one. Now he has 4 more days remaining on his lifespan, so a tiny bit of time to find his purpose, but things are really starting to look bleak. I'm sure in some way Chance would feel like that's all his fault, because he led his brother off in a direction that wasn't able to benefit him in any way. If only we could get him over to these healing islands in time, but poor Sunrise doesn't even realize that her help is needed. Though she is quite enjoying Chime's songs. Now that his victory song is over, maybe we'll have them join each other over on the healing islands. She might even be able to find a job for him here. Maybe he could use his music to help soothe the minds of the creatures that she needs to heal. But in the next episode, I hope we'll be ready to put all of our bluebird babies to the test. We need to find our next leader, so we'll be ready to set sail to the savannas as soon as the Stinky Tail is unlocked. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!